Okay. Well, guys, thank you for coming. We still had some stragglers jumping in, so that's why we waited a few minutes. But my name's Amanda O'Doherty. I'm with Region 9. I'm an education consultant. And we had a lot of teachers really interested in working with Bitmoji. So they asked me to kind of put this together because I've been playing with it. And so it's a real cool interactive tool. So we're going to do a few things today that will really help you get started. And this is just a quick glimpse into what you can do with Bitmoji. This by no means encompasses everything. There's so many interactive things that you can put together. So as we get through this, if you have questions, feel free to chat them in the chat box. I know April's watching the chat box for us, and she'll interrupt me as we need to get some of those answered. And then if there's some more things that you would like to do, but you're not sure how to get them into a Bitmoji classroom, please, 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 my contact information is at the end. Email me and let me know, and I can get with you and help you put those together. So it's such a wonderful resource. I am having internet connection issues, so I am going to turn my video off, but my screen will still be available. And that way we can just go through this and hide that. So just a few things that we have, kind of our precursors. So what we're looking at for this session is for you to become familiar with emoji, Bitmoji avatars and what they really are and how they work. We're going to talk about different ways that we can use these classrooms, specifically right now with our world being virtual mostly, how to use them in a virtual classroom, but they can be used in a face-to-face setting as well. Then I'm actually going to walk you through how to get the Bitmoji extension, set up Bitmoji yourself, and then start working on your Bitmoji classroom. And so we'll kind of just work through this until our time is up. And like I said, if you have more questions later, all you got to do is let me know and I will get with you. Norms for our work, I'm not going to read these to you. These are pretty standard for any R9 training that we do. And please feel free to chime in if you have. Some of you may know more about this than I do. Feel free to share some ideas if you've got some. We really appreciate as much interaction on these as we can get. So please feel free to do that. Our expectations as we go through, as you know, R9 is a huge champs believer in our trainings. And so we've set that up for our expectations. If you are gonna chime in, please feel free to use your level 3 teacher voice so that we definitely can hear you and don't have any questions about what you've said. You can raise your hand, you can chat, you can text me. I didn't get April's number in here. I should have, so you could text her. If you are kind of shy and don't want to speak up, you can do that. Our activity ultimately is to get your Bitmoji stuff set up so that you can actually walk away from here and have a fairly decent idea of how to utilize Bitmoji in your classroom setting. Move around as you needed. It's an hour session, so it's not too much, and we will be interacting. It is going to be a working session. So my presentation, my slide deck itself isn't gonna last very long because we're gonna jump into actually getting you in Bitmoji and setting up your Bitmoji classrooms. And then participation is just, hopefully you can utilize this as much as possible into your classrooms and something that's really gonna benefit you and your students and hopefully make your life a little bit easier. So an emoji itself has been around for quite a while, and probably the vast majority of us have already used them when we're sending text messages out for sure. Smiley faces, crying faces, hearts, there's so many different emojis available now, but they're all across genres, facial expressions, objects, places, weather, anything you can imagine. So we've probably all used these at one time or another. So emoji is kind of where Bitmoji originated. And so a Bitmoji is actually your own personal emoji. So all of the wonderful things that you can do with an emoji, Bitmoji allows you to be able to do them with your image that you've created your avatar for. And it's just a secondary app. So we're gonna download that app in a minute so that you guys can create your own avatar and use that as your Bitmoji. But really, it's just an expressive cartoon. It's fun and exciting. Kids really love it. They love to set up their own avatars and they love to interact with yours. So there's so many things that you can use with this. An avatar is really, in the computer world, it's just a graphic representation of you. And you can pretty much create anything in your Bitmoji extension, and I'll show you how to do that, that you want to, and you can add so much to it. So it really just opens up some of the graphics that you can use in your classrooms. So we're going to create our own Bitmoji, and unfortunately it doesn't work to create your Bitmoji on your computer unless you use Snapchat on your computer, and hopefully on a work computer we don't do that. I don't even have a Snapchat, so I had to do mine on my cell phone. So I'm going to actually start my video again and see if I can pull that up. But on your cell phone is where you are going to have to create your actual Bitmoji. And so go to your app store, and I'm gonna pull mine up and kind of share it with you guys. And so it depends, mine is Play Store because I'm an Android lover. I am not, sorry April, but I am not a Mac or iPhone fan. I'm not an Apple product person. So you're just gonna pull up your Play Store, whichever one, how you get your apps on your phone, and you'll type in Bitmoji, and your Bitmoji app in that will look like a little square green smiley face. And if you can see mine, it's right here on the top of my screen. And so you'll just download that onto your phone. So I'm gonna keep talking, and if I'm gonna let you guys kind of start working now to download the app on your phone if you don't already have it. And then once we do that, you are going to add an extension to your computer, which will allow the two of them to talk together. So this is what you're gonna do on your cell phone. You're gonna go to your store, your app store, and click on the Bitmoji, and you will download it to your phone, or if you're using a tablet of some kind, you can download it to your tablet. You'll sign up for it. So depending on how you're gonna utilize it, you're either gonna use it through Snapchat or you'll sign up with an email. I, like I said, don't have a Snapchat, so I used my email to sign up for my Bitmoji, and I just used my Gmail, my Google email, so I knew which one I was using. You'll wanna make sure that you keep your email and your password, so if you do create a username or password that you don't normally use, make sure you write that down, because you're gonna need that when we download the extension on your computer so that you can access the same Bitmoji. And then you'll go through, you'll select a gender, and then you're gonna design it, and you have so many options. We're not gonna have time to go through all of them right now. So you'll be able to choose your eye color, your skin tone, your weight, you can play with your weight, your hairstyle. My hardest was finding the correct hairstyle, and I still didn't do very well with that. And you can change your outfits. You can virtually do pretty much anything you want to with your Bitmoji avatar. And so once you get all of that taken care of, you've got your extension downloaded, you've pulled up your Bitmoji, then you just tap the Save Avatar button, and it's gonna save your Bitmoji. And that's what's gonna allow us to connect to our computer so that we can get that avatar and that Bitmoji app downloaded onto your computer. So I'm gonna give you just a minute to create that really quick on your cell phone. And I don't know, got my camera back on. How many people can I see? And I know we're all working right now, so I'm not going to have you talk or chat or anything, but if, as we keep going, if I'm going too fast, if you'll chat that or kind of let us know, because I want to make sure that you have a chance to put all of this together so that it's not something that you have to do later. But just in case today you're just watching and you're not really working in it right now, all of the tools that I'm going to show you right now and the how-to step-by-step pages are a link on the last page of the slide deck, and April will send out the slide deck links so that you have access to this. So you can always go back and go through the steps later if we don't have time to do all of them right now. Do we have anything?
So just a really quick comment from on my phone, which I have an Apple. Yes. I was able to get into Bitmoji, and then it asked me to take a selfie. And yes, from that selfie, created my Bitmoji quickly.
Yes, it probably goes a whole lot quicker. Mine would not do that. And so maybe that is one of the benefits of an Apple. Right, April? She keeps trying to convert me and it doesn't always work because I still like my PC.
I've had my Bitmoji so long that it didn't do that, April. Darn.
I need to go back and see if I can do mine by picture to see if it, because I don't feel like mine looks a whole lot like me. But anyway, it was the best I could come up with. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next step. This step is going to be on your computer. And so I'm going to turn my camera off again just in case, because last time it kicked me out. So you can, well, this talks to about adding it to your Bitmoji to your keyboards. So you do have the option to add it to the keyboard on your phone so that you can just click a button and it automatically pops up in a text or an email. So I did do that. And here, like I said, you're gonna have access to all of these instructions. So it's super easy to add this later if you wanna do that, but you can add the keyboard extension to your phone so that it will pop up in your text messages and your emails and everything that you do on your phone. So it's a one tap and that's all that you have to do. To add it to your computer, so you will need to do this to actually be able to utilize it to create a Bitmoji classroom. And I've tried it on several different, well, I don't even know the word, but it works best on Chrome. So let's just say that. I've tried it with Firefox, I've tried it with Edge, and they work, but it doesn't work as well and it doesn't integrate as easily. So I will recommend for this that you download it using the Chrome extension. So to do that, and I'm going to walk you through the steps and then I'm going to show you the steps so that it's easy to do. But to add the extension to your computer, you'll get on your computer and you'll type in just the Google search bar. You're going to open your Google Chrome extensions, like your extension store where you download all of your extensions. And if you need to, all you have to do is in the search bar, type Bitmoji Google Chrome extension. And so it will pop up where you can download that extension and you will add that extension to Chrome, okay? It's going to install that into your browser and I'll show you where you can locate that in just a second. And then from there, you're able to log into your Bitmoji account and it will automatically link to the Bitmoji that you create on your cell phone that you just did or through Snapchat. And then at that point, you can click the extension that'll be on the top right hand of your screen at any time to add a Bitmoji into any activity that you're working on. It can go, you can put it in anything. It's honestly as easy as it's as easy as a copy and paste. Okay, so we're gonna get started. April, I don't think we have any questions. I didn't see any more pop up. So if that's the case, I'm actually gonna show you how to get the extension and where to go to find everything that you need so we can start your classroom. So I am going to just open a new tab and go to Google. And so from here, I'm just going to type Bitmoji Chrome extension. And if you'll see it, it's down here. And it's going to pop up my Chrome web store. And so I will open that link. And I am so sorry, guys. My internet is not the fastest today. Now, I've already downloaded the extension to my computer because I've been using it. But it's going to pop up and it's going to look like this on your screen. But instead of saying remove from Chrome on your computer, it'll say add extension. And so what you'll do is you'll just click to add that extension. And if you ever need to, Google is great about providing how-tos. So if you ever need support, all you have to do is do the exact same thing we got here, Google Bitmoji Chrome extension, and you can actually get to their support page right here, and the support page will help you walk through anything that you might need help with, okay? Once you download the Chrome extension, it's going to pop up here, if you'll see where my cursor is in this upper right-hand corner of your screen, and if you click on that, you'll have to log in, and that's why I mentioned you're gonna want to write down that login information from when you created it on your phone, because you're gonna use that same information to log in here, okay? And so once you do, now you have your Bitmoji. And you have so many options that you can choose from. It operates much like the emojis are going to operate on your phone or in your email, in your chat if you use the chat feature through Google or Gmail. So you've got a lot of options that you can play with. And just like your emojis, some are wonderful to use and highly appropriate, and then you have quite a few that I found that are highly inappropriate. So just be cautious about which ones that you choose to put in the things that you're going to send to your students. So once you have this downloaded, you've created your Bitmoji in your cell phone, and then we're going to download the Chrome extension onto our computer and sign in. Make sure you sign in. Now what we can do is actually start creating our Bitmoji classroom. So I'm going to go back to my presentation again and show you, this was my first one. And what's great, well, before we go there, let me show you these. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. There are so many things that you can do with Bitmoji. And so create a Bitmoji classroom is just skimming the surface. I was amazed at how many different activities you could do using a Bitmoji classroom. And so some of these ideas, this is just, like I said, skimming the surface. I found thousands of ideas. I saw one librarian, and all of these are hyperlinked, and you have access to these through the link that April sent out. But you can create a virtual library. And I saw a librarian that had recreated her entire library, and it looked almost identical because she had a picture of her library and her Bitmoji classroom library, and they looked almost identical. And she was featuring her books, and she had found links to books that students could just click on. And just like you would rotate themes throughout the year, she could rotate those, and students had instant access to free novels that they could read simply by going to their librarian's Bitmoji classroom. Okay, so there's examples of that, how to create a Bitmoji classroom. So if what we're doing today isn't enough and you need some more help, please utilize these. Icebreakers for students. I've seen the Bitmoji locker. It's a really cool idea, and students have had, I saw some teachers in Tularosa put one of these together. It was amazing, and they had so much fun. The kids really had a good time with it. So I put the template in here for you to use as well. And there are so many. If you have a Twitter account or an Instagram, you can follow these and find so many ideas. And these all came courtesy of Cool Tools for School, which the link is down here, and there's even more ideas on that website. So please use those. They've got some great ideas. This was my first Bitmoji classroom that I was playing with. And honestly, I played around with it for a while, but it probably all in all took me about 30 minutes to do. So it really doesn't take that long. It's not difficult. Anybody can create this. And when I first saw, it was one of my mentors from last year that started showing me her Bitmoji classroom. And I felt so overwhelmed, like it was something I could never put together. And I was amazed when I started getting into it and found out how simple and how easy it is. So what I did here, and we're going to do all of this, I'm going to show you how to create everything, but these are all hyperlinked. Okay, so if I click, this is how do you feel today, and it's an emoji chart. So what I can do is I have hyperlinked this. If I click on it, what hyperlink actually opens is daily check-in. Oh, well, that took me here to my classroom, but if I click here, it's hyperlinked. And it's going to take me to a document, a form, a Google form that I've created that is a distance check-in, and I can check in with my students and see how they're feeling today, give some questions or answers as to why they feel that way, how they're feeling with their school. And what I love about this one is it gives me a list of people they can check and if they need someone to contact them. So maybe it's a social worker or a school counselor or the school nurse, or maybe their homeroom teacher. So I linked that into my Google Classroom or my Bitmoji classroom. And so they can click on that. If they need the link to Edgenuity, all they have to do is click here and open the hyperlink, and it takes them to Edgenuity if they're using that platform. This little calendar here, if they click here, it's going to hyperlink to our Google Classroom calendar so they can see what's coming up. I do a lot of trainings on MLSS right now, so MTSS is the same thing, and I've hyperlinked that here. There's just so many different things that you can do to interact with your students. Here, I've got a Google Classroom how-to, but one thing I saw a teacher do that was kind of cool is they had their syllabus here, but she actually hyperlinked herself to a YouTube video that was giving her like, this is who I am information, like the beginning of the year speech that you would give to your students. So you could actually teach a lesson and hyperlink, you know, download it and hyperlink it here. And I can work with you later. We won't have time to show you how to do that today, but that is definitely something that is doable through your Bitmoji classroom. So April, I see questions coming in. Is there anything that I need to address, or can we go ahead and start working on creating a classroom? I don't have my pictures up, just a second.
So there is a comment from Cleo that her nephew was showing me an assignment on his Canvas, and all of his Bitmoji classroom was on his Canvas landing page. It was so cool. It's more of a comment.
Yes, and I have seen that as well. And what we're doing with Google Classroom, you can actually almost do the exact same thing to dump it into the Canvas if they're using the Canvas app. And I didn't.
That's pretty cool. I didn't even know it could link to that or how they did that.
Yeah, and it's super simple. And like I said, it's really just a copy and paste is all it is in a hyperlink. So
he showed me his homework last night and he was asking me something and I'm like, that's Bitmoji. I'm doing that tomorrow.
So yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do. There's no way we'll get through all of it by any means. But if you have some ideas or something that I don't talk about here today, please share them and we can get some how-to tutorial videos put together on those, or if you've heard of teachers doing them, and we can upload those to our TechBits website that you can find on the Region 9 website. We've already got some videos uploaded to help with some things, and so we can add some Bitmoji stuff there as well. Okay, so oh, go ahead.
Amanda, yeah, so we have a resource page that will probably add those links that you have in your presentation to, and possibly create a Bitmoji section, because there's quite a bit of information out there that teachers can utilize, or that we can utilize.
And that's such a wealth of resources, not just with Bitmoji, but anything virtual right now. So we've got a ton of stuff there. Okay, so let's get started with your Bitmoji classroom. So if you're already in Google Slides, then you can just open a new one. If not, what you can do is just go to your Rubik's Cube up here in the upper right-hand corner. And mine is acting up. And we're going to click on Google Slides. You're going to create your virtual classroom in a Google Slides presentation. And so you're just going to open a blank slide. And the first thing that you want to do, I know like everybody wants to jump to the fun stuff immediately because that's what I try to do. But if you'll notice, and I'm going to go back to my classroom, none of these, like the rug on the floor, well, you can move the overall slide, but like the chair, you can't move the chair. Like that's me, and you could move me. And you can't move like the classroom and can't move the backdrop around. And so the only things that are actually linked and hyperlinked that the students have access to are the things that I actually want them to have access to. So what we have to do first is we have to create your background, your backdrop for your classroom. So you open up a blank Google slide, and we're actually going to delete all of the text boxes on the page. So if you're working with me, feel free to go ahead and split your screen if you know how to do that. And you can see me on half of it and you can work on the other half. So now we've got our blank canvas to start off with. I'm actually going to X out because we're not going to use any of these themes. We're going to upload our own themes. There's two ways you can get to finding images on the internet. You can either insert here, click image, and tell it to search the web. If you've got an image on your computer, you can do it from there. Or you can do this little insert image. And if you click on that, it gives you the same options. So we want to upload from or search the internet is actually what we want to do. The key to searching images, anything in your Bitmoji classroom, and actually this kind of changed my whole world of searching for images, is typing in the word transparent. Okay, you want a transparent image. And what that does is if you've ever copy and pasted from the internet, everything almost kind of comes in a box and it has some coloring around it and it doesn't integrate without the edges showing. We don't want the edges, and the way that you get images without having those edges is by typing transparent into your search. So you're actually going to start off with typing in transparent wall and floor. okay? And so if you just type in transparent wall and floor, it's going to give you a ton of options. And you really just scroll until you find the one that you want. And it's so funny, April and I were talking about how the images here are so different day to day. And you just kind of have to play with one. We're not getting really any great ones. This one's not too bad. So I'm going to double click on this one and see if this one suits what we're trying to do. So it's going to create, and I'm so sorry that it's so slow, but it's going to pop it into my slide deck, hopefully. Maybe not. And able to create some images. This is great. Let's try that again. Search the web. Let's do, we could even do, let's try that. So I hope you guys are having better luck than I am, because even some of these are different from this morning. And I don't know what it is, but they're not even the same images I had this morning. Here we go. This one is the one that I had before, but this image isn't too bad. So we're double click on the image, and hopefully this time it will dump it in without any problems. Maybe. There we go. Yay, we have an image, kind of. So as it's loading, so we're just going to size this to make it the full size of our slide, and add your images, or your, sorry, add it to the length and height that you want it. And from here, we can start uploading what we want in our classroom. So for me, I mean, I'm a teacher for a very long time. I know that I need a whiteboard. So I'm actually going to search again, search the web. I'm going to keep the transparent in here. And then I'm going to type in a whiteboard. And so it gives me a lot of different options that I can choose from, and you can scroll down and different ones. This one's pretty decent. So let's see, I'm gonna double click on that one and see what it looks like. And a lot of times the images, when you get them, they look great, and sometimes you just have to play around until you search it and find what you want. So you're gonna throw this up on your wall, and you're gonna get it to the size that you want it to be. And that looks pretty good, I think. So you might want a teacher desk. And so if that's the case, then let's go search for a teacher desk. And we're gonna search the web again. We're gonna keep that transparent word in there. And we're gonna type teacher desk. And we'll see what it gives us to find. And so you've got a lot of options. What's really cool is when you find an image that you like, and this one will work for me for right now. We'll dump it in there, and if you don't like the color, that's okay. You have the option to play with the colors. I'm going to show you how to do that as soon as this loads. You can actually rotate them if you don't like the rotation that they're in. I don't know why this one is not loading. There it is. And so if I kind of want to move that around, which that type of rotation didn't work, but you have this replace image, and you have format options. So you can play with your position if you wanted to, but you can also recolor it, and you have options, and it'll give you all different recolorings that you can do for your transparent images. They only work for transparent images. So if you had a different image that you were kind of wanting to, or not a transparent image that you found and you liked, you may not be able to change the colors and play with it that nature. So, and now it's giving me fits. It doesn't want to move. Can I size it? Because I lost internet. Are you guys still there? I hope y'all are there still. Okay, I'm going to move my whiteboard over here, and my teacher desk is here, and I'm going to rotate it slightly. I'll leave it there. So I may want a computer on my desk, because I'm going to share some maybe it's Edgenuity, or maybe it's just giving them a link to my Google Classroom if you're going to send this via email. So I'll come over here and I'm going to type in laptop. And I'll just find a laptop that looks okay. This one's not bad. And it'll pop in here. And we just resize it. And place it on my desk. And put it over here. And I mean, you can get into even, you know, some plants. You can put a plant on your desk. If you have pictures of your family, you could actually put your pictures in a picture frame. I'm going to add maybe a little floor rug and to make it more friendly and more inviting. So once again, you just upload from, or not from my computer, sorry, search the web. And now I want to add a floor rug. And it'll pop up all different kinds of rugs. And if you have, you know, you're in an elementary classroom and you really want to do a fun like alphabet rug, you would just type that in and it would pull the same thing up for you. And once again, you just size it, move it, place it on your floor where it makes sense, make it a little bit bigger than that. And once again, the color for me is not all that appealing. And so what I'm going to do here in a second is I'm going to go back to adjust the color. And there we go. That's a little bit better. And I'm going to find a color that suits what I'm trying to do. And gray, there we go. That one looks better. And then one more thing that I always try to add in my Bitmoji classroom when I'm playing around with it is a bookshelf. And I may have already messed up, but we're going to try it. I'm going to put a low bookshelf. And these are kind of cool. These are hanging bookshelves. And so that might work really well. I don't see another really short one because I want to put it underneath my whiteboard. So I'm going to insert this one and we're going to size it and move it over here. And that's still probably going to be too big. There we go, that would work. And so then I would have the ability, I can put books on it and some tools here in a minute, but I don't want to add those yet because I'm going to hyperlink all of those. So once I kind of have my room set up, and I don't have myself in here yet or anything like that, but these are the basic ideas that you can add. So what I want to do is I want to create this as a background. I don't want my students to be able to move or edit or play around with any of these items that I have on my screen. The cardinal rule of anything Google is to name it, and I didn't do that first. So I am going to name this Bitmoji template. Number 2. And so we have it named now. And so I'm going to file and I'm going to download this. And I believe we did it this morning. April, can you chime in and remind me what he did? It as a JPEG or a PNG, and it worked.
Brian said a PNG worked for him.
Okay, so we're going to download it this morning. I did mine prior as a PDF and it did not work today, but we're going to download it as a PNG file and it should download to the computer, and you'll be able to open this in just a second. So we've created it, we've downloaded it, and now we're going to open up. So this is my template. I'm not going to share this with my students because this is movable. This is where I can always go back and fix it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new slide. And this is the one that I'm going to start adding all of my hyperlinks to. And I'm going to add my background to this. But now my students can't mess around with my background. So I'm going to put, title it again, so it doesn't get lost in the Google Untitled Nowhere abyss. And so now I've got my blank slide again. I've deleted the text boxes. And so I'm going to, once again, insert an image, but this time I'm going to upload it from my computer. And I've got my template here. It's the first thing because I just saved it. So I'm going to open that up and voila. Now I have my slide background and I can just resize it to fit my slide again. And now I get to the fun stuff and all of the hyperlinking that I'm going to do. So let me get this here. Okay, so now it's the right size. And so I'm going to start off, and instead of Edgenuity right now, I'm actually going to put in a Google Classroom link here. So the first thing I need to do is search for an image. So I'm going to go back to the web and type in Google Classroom, but I want to make sure it's transparent. Don't forget to add that. So I've got transparent Google Classroom icon, and this one will work just fine for me. So I'm going to double click that. It's going to pop on my screen, and I am going to make it a little smaller. That's still not small enough. Oops, where did it go? I lost it. There it is. And I'm going to move this over to my computer, and then I'm going to size it to fit my computer screen. So it takes a little time, but you can play with it and get it set just like you want it. But now what I can do is I can go and open the Google Classroom that I want to link this to. And students will have instant access to Google Classroom. But once again, it's not wanting to open. Maybe we'll just do this. There it goes. It's just slow today. I guess we all have those days. So I have a practice class here, and I am going to copy my invitation. Actually, I'm just going to copy my Google Classroom link. And I'm going to go into my Bitmoji Classroom, and I'm going to click on the Google Classroom image. Okay. Now I'm going to hyperlink this so they can get directly into my Google Classroom. So I'm going to click Insert Link. It's going to pop up a little paste. I'm going to paste that link in here and apply that. And so now all they have to do to get into Google Classroom is come to this little computer, and they can click that icon. Maybe I have an anchor chart that I want to use. I'm an English teacher by default, so just bear with me. But maybe I have an anchor chart that I want to help them with. And so I want a writing poster. So I can come over here and transparent writing poster and let it see what it can pull up. And I can find, you know, whichever one suits my fancy. Or maybe you're doing a theme and you're doing a novel study and you want to put some information for your novel study over here. That's a great tool to use. And I don't really see any good writing posters. So, well, writing, let's do essay writing. And if you have images of anchor charts in your classroom, this is actually a really great way to post your anchor charts in Google Classroom. You can add them as posters to your wall. And from there, you have the ability to hyperlink it to documents in your Google Classroom. And I honestly can't read this, but it looks interesting. So we're going to put that in there and pretend that that's the writing poster that I was looking for. And we're going to make it smaller. It's really not a good writing poster, but we're going to pretend that it is. And it's transparent, so it doesn't have a background at all. So we're going to actually put this on our whiteboard, which is kind of cool. So maybe I'm teaching a lesson on, you know, writing novels, because that's what it is. And so I put this on my whiteboard, but I'm also going to hyperlink it. And I have a document in my Google Docs that I want to make sure and hyperlink here so that my students have access to my notes and how to help them write this essay. So maybe I've put some notes together that's really helpful. I'm just going to attach an agenda for time's sake today, but I'm going to double click that and open that link. But what I'm going to do is copy the URL. So I'm going to hit Control-C there and copy the URL, go back to my classroom. Once again, I click the image and I go to the little link button right here in the middle, insert a link, and once again, I just paste that Control-V, hit that link, And now this is hyperlinked and they can access my notes page that I have for them, which is just an enrichment activity. Say maybe I had a video that I wanted my students to watch. One thing that you can do that I saw a teacher do that was really kind of cool. We're gonna search the web again and we're gonna look for a flat screen TV. And so I want one that'll hang on the wall. So this one looks okay. And we're gonna dump this. Oh, I've not seen this one. This is interesting. Couldn't preview file. Just click insert, see what happens. Maybe. So I'm gonna put a TV over here by my whiteboard because a lot of classrooms have TVs now. And I have a YouTube video that is on, I don't know, say we're starting a unit on Frankenstein. So I'm going to type in YouTube video intro to Frankenstein. And it's a good time of year for that. And this is a great one. I've actually used this video in my classroom. So we're going to open that. And one of the things I want to show you with YouTube videos is if you notice, they all kind of had the ads to start off with. And I don't want the ad in when they click on it. I honestly just want them to get the video. So to do that, you actually just click the right, click in your
Welcome
video.
To this
I'm gonna pause
introduction
it.
to
She sounded good. Okay, so we're gonna right click and we're gonna copy the video URL. So if you copy the URL up here, it's actually gonna bring in all of the advertisements, all of the stuff over here, the suggested searches. I don't want them to see any of that. All I want them to see is the actual video. So if you right click, just once again, right click in the video, it'll pop up a little black box. You can copy the video URL. So when you do that and you come in and you link it into your classroom, it actually will only link that video and it won't go to all of the extra stuff. But one thing that I don't have yet is I need an image. So I'm going to once again search the web and I want a transparent Frankenstein. And we'll just upload this image TV screen just for time's sake. Oops, I'm moving it, not making it smaller. And so I'm gonna make this to where it fits correctly on my TV screen. And you might find a better image than that. It's not the best. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click that image. I'm gonna go to my link button again, insert link, and insert that YouTube video link. So now when my students click that link, they automatically get taken to that YouTube video and they can watch that video. And so maybe from there, I have added an assignment. Maybe I have a little assignment folder here that I've put on my bookshelf the same way that we've done everything else. And they know after they watch that video, they click on the little assignment bookshelf and they can access the assignments from there. I might add a novel of Frankenstein because there's free versions of it for students to read or hear it read to them. A lot of students have that as an accommodation that you need to provide. So you could put the image here and provide a link on your bookshelf to provide that information to your students. The absolute last thing that you're gonna do is add your avatar, your Bitmoji avatar. So I'm gonna come to my little Bitmoji app here on the extension that I've added, and I'm gonna say waving. And so when I type in waving, it's gonna hopefully bring up Bitmojis of me waving, but maybe not. Oh, there it goes. I got one. Maybe a few. And I don't like any of those. You could play around and maybe say hi. So I'd like to find one of myself standing, and I'm not doing a great job of that today. But this might be fun. You can, oh, sorry, you have to right click. It'll direct you, copy image, and then I'm gonna paste image into my classroom. Okay, I don't wanna install that right now. Hit Control V and it does it for you. And just for fun for today, because it's the end of the day and we need some fun, she can come out of the floor. There we go. And so you add your Bitmoji to add it, make it personal, and then you can add your Bitmoji avatar to pretty much anything. So this is very, very, very basic. There's so much more that you can do, but I want to take time to show you how you're going to add this to your Google Classroom. It's actually really simple. And I did, if you get into the presentation, I did add a slide to show you exactly where you do this. So if you're not familiar with Google Classroom, I'm going to show you as well. But honestly, you just create it as an assignment and you can add this. And the only reason I would do it as an assignment and not like an announcement or a question or just material is so that students do get notified that it's in there and they get reminders that they need to look at it. So once again, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I have my practice class open. This is the one. If you don't have a practice Google Classroom to play around in, I'm going to recommend you do that because it's super easy and nobody gets notified unless they are one of your few students. So I'm going to go to classwork here and I'm going to click create and I'm going to create an assignment. Now what I love about this is there's so many things in so many ways that you can utilize this, and it has really taken its time today. There we go. So I'm going to call it Frankenstein. So I would give them any instructions that I had for maybe this unit. So maybe I created my whole classroom around my Frankenstein unit for when I was going to teach Frankenstein in my English class. And all of their assignments were in there. I had uploaded all of the introduction materials, all of the anchor charts, the graphic organizers that they might need would all be hyperlinked so that they could instantly access them from my classroom. And I'm going to give them their instructions here. I'm not going to take the time to type those today. But then up here, I'm just going to click the add button and I'm going to go to my Google Drive because it automatically uploads into your Google Drive since you did it in your slides presentation. And one more time, it's taking its time. So we're going to let this load for a second and it should be this one. I just want to make sure. Yep, there we go. So now I've uploaded, all I did was double click on it. Now this is very important because you don't want them messing with your original. So any of the items that you hyperlinked, they have the ability to move around. And inevitably, until they get used to working in Google Classroom or into your Bitmoji classroom, that's gonna happen a little bit. And I wish, and I know we've requested as we went through Google Bootcamp that they create a setting to where you can anchor your images. They have not done that yet as a Google Suite. So unlike in PowerPoint where you can anchor your images to where they can't move, you can't do that in the Google Suites yet. They said they're working on it. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to make a copy for each student. What this does is allows each of your student to have their own individual copy. So when they accidentally move something around, it may manipulate it on their folder or their file, but it's not going to manipulate any of the other students and it won't touch your original. So that's a really good tip to do. And then you can actually assign it to multiple classes. I have way too many Google classes, if you can tell that. Or in this classroom, if I wanted to just assign it to maybe 2 students, maybe I was creating group activities and I uploaded all the activities for the groups, but I wanted to assign April and Emmanuel to do one together, and then Cleo and I were going to do one together. So I could actually unclick all students and only assign this to the students that I wanted it to go to. Maybe I had some students that really needed some remediation tools. And so instead of hyperlinking the assignment, I actually hyperlinked a mini lesson on, I don't know, writing a paragraph and how to write a paragraph. And my entire Google Classroom theme for that one was on how to write a paragraph. And so maybe Cleo and Emmanuel needed help with that. And so that assignment I would just send to them. So there's some really cool differentiation tools that you can utilize with this. So for now, I'll just assign it to everybody. They're going to get notified again because they're my practice crew when I'm playing around with stuff. And so this is just going to populate into their Google Classroom. And they would open it, they would follow the instructions, they can upload, assign, create, they can do everything that they could normally do in a Google Classroom. It's just through your Bitmoji classroom. It's more personal and it's more interactive. So I've given you some tools here, the Cool Tools for School link, which is where most of that information came from. There's a YouTube video that's really great on how to create a Bitmoji classroom down here at the bottom. And then all of the how-to stuff is linked twice because that's where I pulled the pages, the screenshots from how to create your Bitmoji avatar and how to get it into your download the extension into Chrome. So all of the tools are here and available. But also I've added my contact information. So if you do have any questions at any time, please feel free. I know April wouldn't mind you getting with her either. But that's pretty much it for now. I know, like I said, that was very basic and very quick. But if you have any questions at all, please ask. I'm not going anywhere. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. And as you get ideas and you're playing around with it and find some successes in it, I'd really like it if you'd share those with us so we can see what you guys are doing. April, it's back to you.
Thank you, Amanda. That was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us and how to build a Bitmoji so we can have fun making our Bitmojis and how we can utilize them in the classroom or even at work. So thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. If you have any questions, please let us know. We're here to assist you in any way, shape, or form. And even if it's just to fill your bucket back up, Region 9 is great doing that. The other thing is I've left a link in the chat box for a quick survey. If you have a moment, we'd love to hear your feedback. All right. Thank you again, Amanda. And thank you everybody for attending.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Yes.